Welcome back. So, recently we started a new social studies unit on monarchy versus democracy. Okay. Last unit, all we did was look over all of our vocabulary words. We talked about them, we answered some questions, and we watched a couple of short little video clips to help us understand the difference between a monarchy and a democracy. Today, we're actually just going to focus on one of those words. Today, we're going to focus on monarchy. So that's what this unit's going to be over. Therefore, let's go back and revisit our vocabulary word. Remember I said in the previous lesson that if we had a bulletin board, this would be up on the board so that way whenever you came in and out of the room, you could see it every day to help you remember it. Well, we're just kind of adding it up here just to help you. Monarchy. A monarchy is a form of government where usually one person reigns, and that's a king or a queen. So that's a monarchy. That's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about the different types of monarchies. We're going to look at a little book and discuss some different countries and whether they have an absolute or a constitutional monarchy. So since I've said that, absolute and constitutional, let's go ahead and jump in and figure out what the heck an absolute monarchy and a constitutional monarchy happens to be. So let's start here with Sarah. Sarah says that today we're going to look at monarchies. There are actually two types of monarchies. One is the absolute monarchy. The other is called constitutional monarchy. So since we have those two types, I have this graphic here. We have a monarchy, and it's broken down into two types, an absolute monarchy and a constitutional monarchy. Those are the two types, and those are what we're going to look at today. So Tony says, let's read about each type of monarchy and see if we can compare them. So again, at the end of the chapter, at the end of this unit, we're going to read this book about different monarchies. And then there's a little chart so you can go through and compare and see which one is an absolute and which one is constitutional. All right, I'm going to read this information to you. If you need to pause it, rewind it, listen to it again, do so. Always remember, these videos are to make it easier for you to learn the information. You do not have to keep pace. You can stop, go back, go forward. You can bring it back to look for answers within the text. This is to make it for you. It's not a race. Take your time. So let's start with absolute monarchy. In an absolute monarchy, one person decides which rules he or she likes and makes them laws. All land and property is given to people by the monarch and can be taken away for any reason. The monarch decides when and how he uses the military. The monarch picks who will be the next ruler. Today, this type of government is very rare. People do not have a lot of power in it. So in an absolute monarchy, we don't have a lot of these. This government is really, really rare. And I'm sure that's because that people have minimal power, if any. They don't have a lot of power in those absolute monarchies. So let's go ahead and check out the other monarchy, which is called a constitutional monarchy. So that's what we're getting ready to look at this time, is a constitutional monarchy, okay? All right. A constitutional monarchy is a form of government that is usually a democracy with a constitution. The monarch is still the head of state. They might have special laws they obey, but sometimes they have to obey the law like the rest of the people. The monarchs usually cannot make the laws on their own. They sign laws into effect after they have been given to them by the elected government. Constitutional monarchies normally have a separation of powers. The monarch's role are ceremonial type. They represent the country when traveling. Most of the monarchs in a constitutional monarchy have the right to vote, but they choose not to in order to stay neutral between political parties. So those are the two types of monarchies. And we have this little Venn diagram here to compare the monarchies. So here we have the absolute monarchy, and here we have the constitutional monarchy. All right? An absolute monarchy. The power is unlimited. They have absolute power. They are in complete control. Constitutional monarchy, power is limited by Parliament. Okay? Now the thing that the two have in common is this. Power is inherited. Okay? So it's passed down from one family member to the next. Absolute is absolute power, complete control. Constitutional monarchy, the power is limited by Parliament, but both inherit their power. Okay? Let's keep looking. So now we're going to answer some questions. Make sure, if you did not get pencil and paper before we started, that you hit pause, you go grab pencil and paper, and then you come back and hit play. Are we ready? How many people make the law in an absolute monarchy? Is it one person, many people, or Congress? Now think about this. Write down number 1, and you're going to write your answer down. We are going to go back to the text and find the answer, but I would like for you to try to come up with it by yourself since we just read about it. If you can't, it's okay. You can wait, and then we'll go back. How many people make the laws in an absolute monarchy? One person, many people, or Congress? In an absolute monarchy, it's one person. They have absolute power. So let's run back into the text and look at it really quick, and then we'll come right back here. In an absolute monarchy, one person decides which rules he or she likes and makes them laws. Everything is run by this one person. Okay? So just one person makes the rules, makes the laws. So you should have written down one person. Pause the video if you need a second to write it down. If not, good, we're going on. What type of power do monarchs in an absolute monarchy have? None, unlimited, or limited. So what type of power do monarchs in an absolute monarchy have? Okay, let's go back and look before I give you the answer. What type of power? Power is unlimited. They have absolute power in an absolute monarchy. So if we come back here and look at question 2, it says, what type of power do monarchs in an absolute monarchy have? It's unlimited. So you should have number 2 written down in the word unlimited. Remember, if you can do this on your own, do this on your own. If you need help with somebody needs to help you write it down, that's fine. You can always point to the screen to give answers. I would like for you to have it answered, or at least determined what your answer is before I say it, okay? Number 3. In an absolute monarchy, who picks the next ruler? The people, the monarch, or nobody? In an absolute monarchy, who picks the next ruler? The people, the monarch, or nobody? Alright, let's go right back up here and see right here. Absolute monarchy, the monarch picks who will be the next ruler. So if we come right back down here, in an absolute monarchy, who picks the next ruler? It's the monarch. They have absolute power, unlimited power, so they pick their next ruler. Okay, let's go ahead and look at question number 4. What do both monarchies have in common? Their leaders are elected, their leaders inherit their power, or leaders buy their position. Now try to remember that Venn diagram. What do they have in common? Leaders are elected, leaders inherit their power, or leaders buy their position. Let's go back and look at that Venn diagram. What do they have in common? On a Venn diagram, it's this middle section of what's in common, and it says the power is inherited. So in both an absolute monarchy and a constitutional monarchy, the power is inherited. That means it's passing down from one family member to the next, to another. So if we come back to question 4, we should have answered leaders inherit their power. Okay. Who limits the power in a constitutional monarchy? Now we've switched here. This one we were talking about both monarchies. These questions we were talking about absolute. Now we're just talking about constitutional monarchy. Who limits the power in a constitutional monarchy? Parliament, the people, or the king? Who limits the power? Parliament, Parliament, the people, or the king? Write your answer down. We're getting ready to go back in the story and find it. Let's use the Venn diagram. I think that's easier. And this is our constitutional monarchy. And it says right here, power is limited by Parliament. Power is limited by Parliament for a constitutional monarchy. So on this one, you should have chosen Parliament. Question number 6. What type of role do most monarchs have in a constitutional monarchy? Is it none? Is it ceremonial? Or do they decide everything? Now remember, we're talking about a constitutional monarchy. Is it none, ceremonial, or they decide everything? Okay, let's run right back up here to the constitutional monarchy. And it says it, we got to find it in our text. Did I overlook it? Oh, right here. Sorry, how did I miss that? It says the monarch's robes are ceremonial in type. So in a constitutional monarchy, sorry guys, I went too fast. The monarch's robes are ceremonial in type. So if we come back to question number 6, what type of robe do most monarchs have in a constitutional monarchy? It's ceremonial. All right, so let's go on. Oh, and here's our activity page. Okay, those 6 questions went with what we just did. We are going to look at different monarchies, and we're going to read about the United Kingdom, and we're going to determine, is it an absolute monarchy or a constitutional monarchy? And just put a check in the correct box. You can draw this out. You don't have to. You can just follow along on this. Everybody see my book? Monarchies Today. Can you see it? Let's see if I can. Probably should make me bigger, shouldn't I? Okay, never mind. Let's just show you in here. Right here. United Kingdom. The monarchy of the United Kingdom is a constitutional monarchy. Queen Elizabeth II is the current monarch and head of the state. She inherited the throne after the death of her father, King George VI, in 1952. What type of monarchy did it just say the United Kingdom is? Check it out. It's a constitutional monarchy. So if we had that chart in front of us, I'm going to scroll back. Right here, I would put a check mark in that box because it's a constitutional monarchy. United Kingdom is. So let's check out the next one, the state of Japan. The next country we're going to read about is the state of Japan. The state of Japan is a constitutional monarchy. Akihito is the emperor and head of the imperial family since 1989. Japan is actually the oldest continuing monarchy in the world. So it says that Japan is also a constitutional monarchy. So if we scroll back up to our chart, we're going to see that when we read about the United Kingdom, they were a constitutional monarchy. We just read about the state of Japan. They also are a constitutional monarchy. And if you remember when we were reading about the differences between absolute and constitutional, it said that absolute is very rare, which we're already seeing because the first 2 we've read about have been constitutional monarchies. Okay, let's go to our next page. All right, so now the next place we're going to look is the Sultanate of Oman. All right, Sultanate of Oman. Oman is an Arab country in Western Asia. It is governed by an absolute monarchy. Sultan Qaboos bin Said Al Said is the head of the country. He has been the leader since 1970. So what kind of monarchy is this? This one is an absolute monarchy. So let's go back up to our chart again. Let's do it this way, try to make it easier on your eyes. So again, the United Kingdom is a constitutional monarchy. The state of Japan is a constitutional monarchy. Sultanate of Oman is an absolute monarchy. That means he has absolute power, unlimited. Let's go ahead and look at the Kingdom of Spain. Kingdom of Spain. The Kingdom of Spain is a constitutional monarchy. Felipe VI is the current monarch of this country. He is the commander-in-chief of the Spanish Armed Forces. So what kind of monarchy is the Kingdom of Spain? Right here. It's a constitutional monarchy. So let's go back again and look at our table. Remember, very few absolute monarchies in our table is showing us because the United Kingdom is constitutional. State of Japan, constitutional. Sultanate of Oman, absolute. Kingdom of Spain, constitutional monarchy. We have one more to look at. The Vatican City State. That's our last one. Last one, Vatican City State. Vatican City State is an absolute monarchy. Pope Francis is the sovereign of this state. Vatican City State is the smallest state in the world. So this one is also an absolute monarchy. So if we go back to our table, let's finish it one more time before we quit and check it out. United Kingdom is a constitutional monarchy. State of Japan is a constitutional monarchy. Sultanate of Oman is an absolute monarchy. Kingdom of Spain is a constitutional monarchy. And our last one, the Vatican City State, is an absolute monarchy. So these are our different monarchies, absolute and the constitutional. Let's look at that Venn diagram one more time before we call it quits for today and compare the two. Absolute monarchy, power is unlimited, absolute power. Constitutional monarchy, power is limited by parliament. And the thing they have in common is both have power is inherited. Hey guys, I hope you all learned the differences between the absolute and the constitutional. Hope this made sense. Go back and watch it as often as you need. And I'll see you next time for our next lesson. Bye guys.